Good morning.
Good luck.
All right, hold on. Let me click this. Okay. So, first I wanted to tell you that I'm so glad that you made it safely back from Belize.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I was telling Corey like we should go, Corey, and we wanted to, but he said maybe next year because he didn't quite have his passport. So
Where do you live, Deann?
I live in just outside of Dallas, Texas,
Oh,
in a little city. Well, it's a college town. It's not really that small anymore. It's Denton, Texas. It's kind of like a little Austin. It's
oh,
basic college town.
I've been to
Um,
Austin several times, but
yeah,
I live.
yeah. Texas is so big that until I was married, like my husband has taken me to San Antonio and places like it. I guess I haven't been a lot of places, but we lived in a place called Possum Kingdom Lake, and it sounds so. I'm like, are there possums there? He goes, strangely, not very many, but it's like a really, really beautiful part of Texas I never knew existed. There's this gorgeous giant lake, and there's a dam, and there's like cliff lines, and so the water's dropped, so people build these like $1 million houses on these cliff lots, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah. So I had some questions that I've been wanting to ask you.
Okay.
And I first wanted to say that if I ask you anything that you don't feel comfortable answering, or maybe you don't quite have an answer for, that you can politely say, I really just don't feel comfortable
Yeah.
asking that. I'm not going to ask you boxers or briefs. Don't worry. I'm just going to ask you just questions I've been curious about. But whenever you had your near death experience and you spoke with Jesus, and he said that he showed you a visual of a way that things could be where people could pray over food, like and grow food. They could heal the sick, and if someone was dying, they would pray over them, and as they passed on, and things like that. Really a beautiful, seems like a very peaceful way of living. And then he said, I believe this is correct, that if it didn't go that way, then it could go a very bad way, and things would be completely chaos and murder in the streets and very Mad Max, like
Yeah, exactly.
you yes. So my question is, I was wondering, whenever we read the Bible, it seems to be a pretty mapped out like way of kind of the future, saying, that in the future there'll be the rapture, the Antichrist will come, all these things will happen. So I'm just curious, like, if you could explain to me, like, how could we have any way of changing that future if it says in the Bible, this will happen, Jesus will come back, fight evil,
Okay. First of all, prophecy is a warning. It's not a prediction of the future.
Oh, okay.
Prophets' purpose and prophetic writings in the Bible are, if you do this, the consequences are going to be this.
Mhm.
But if you do that, the consequences will be different. Like, for example, back in the history of Israel, the prophets were saying, don't make alliances with Egypt. Really bad
Mhm.
idea.
Yeah.
Egyptian kings were like, well, the Babylonians are threatening us, so we're going to go find somebody really powerful to make an alliance with. Well, the Babylonians took the alliance with the Egyptians as a threat to their power, their influence. So they took Israel, you know,
Yeah.
and then Egypt did not come to Israel's aid. It was like, oh, sorry, the Babylonians are killing you all. Anyways, that's the
That's
purpose of prophecy. So, anyways,
choice.
the most prophetic writing in the whole Bible, which is amazing that people don't pay attention to, is Gospel of Matthew, chapter 24, which is entirely the words of Jesus talking about what may happen in the future.
Yes.
And when Jesus told me about the future, he was telling me, if the world does this, this is the consequence. If the world does that, it's a different consequence. So when you were referring to the things that Jesus showed me, we are going to have heaven on earth.
Mhm.
That's going to happen. That's the end goal. The question is how we're going to get there.
Right.
Um,
So, yeah. So, I'm sorry.
so your question is, how do we get the good stuff, the good way to heaven on earth to happen, as opposed to the bad way? Because the bad way is really horrible. It's much worse than I've.
Well,
The good.
I personally don't. It just seems so bad. I mean, if you look at just, I mean, unfortunately, people really look, especially children, to Hollywood, and a lot of that is just showing so many signs of Satanism, evil, and
Yeah.
there's so much bad going on, that to me it looks like that what it says in the Bible is pretty much going to happen. That there's going to be this evil
Not,
dictator that's going to be the
not,
Antichrist, and
not well.
yeah, it just looks like that.
Not necessarily. And so I asked. Okay, so in response to the question, how do we change it? I asked Jesus, and I'm giving you a verbatim, which means I'm trying to give you exactly what I said, what he said in response. And this was in 1985. I said, so what do you want me to do if I go back to the world? This is when I was trying to argue for me going to heaven instead of coming back to this place. And he said, love the person you're with.
Mhm.
And so I said glibly, okay, got it. Yeah, but what do you want me to do? And before he could respond, I started to describe to him that I would go out into the country of northern Kentucky and buy some farmland and devote the rest of my life to building a shrine to Jesus. And Watchtower in Los Angeles, are you familiar with that? Okay.
Yes,
So I
yes.
was thinking of something really over the top, crazy, wild, recycled
Yeah,
material.
being that you're an artist, you just
Yeah.
huge monument.
And Jesus said good naturedly, please don't do that. And I said, why? You love shrines and cathedrals. They're all over the world, and I, and he said, those are for men. They're not for me. They're not for God. We don't need them. People like them. We're not opposed to them, but it's like, we don't need any of that stuff. And
Yeah.
this as an aside, that Jesus didn't say it, but I've come to realize that God's shrine is nature. I mean, God already has a shrine. It's the creation. This is God's shrine.
The mountains and everything that we
flowers
see around
and
us. Yeah.
bumblebees and ants and trees and
Yeah.
etc. So anyhow, that's just a little aside. So I was like really annoyed with Jesus because I came up with a really big idea. Hi, Kitty. I'm seeing a black kitty cat in the back.
This is Bagul. Hey, Bagul.
Good morning. I came up with a really great idea, and then Jesus explained to me, I really don't want you to go hide in your artwork from the world. I want you to love the person that you're with. Right. Yeah, but what good's that going to do? Those are my words.
Yeah.
Jesus said, if you love the person that you're with, they will take that love and pass it on to somebody else and somebody else.
Mhm.
You know, um,
Like the
so,
ripple effect.
exactly, exactly. So I explained to Jesus how wrong he was. I mean, you want to talk about an arrogant jerk?
You
You know,
and tell him you're
I
gonna
mean,
straighten him out.
that's straight.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's a nice plan, but the problem is, that person goes out and they get hit by a car, they get mugged,
Mm,
they have a big fight with their boss and gets fired from their job, and they ain't taking the love anywhere.
mhm.
And he said,
Yeah.
and Jesus said, those things can happen, but Jesus said to me, you don't understand. There's millions of people involved in this.
Mhm.
And I said, now keep in mind, this was 85. So I informed Jesus, since he needs my, my intelligence.
Yeah.
I'm from Jesus. Well, there's 6 million people in the world. Now there's 6 billion people in the world. Now there's 8 billion, but at the time it was 6 billion. And having a few million isn't enough to change the world. And Jesus said, we also have billions of angels. And I was like, that's a lot. I was impressed.
Yeah. I
So,
just recently looked up how much a legion is, because I remember when he was saying I could call on 1,000 legions of angels if I
yeah,
wanted to right now.
yeah.
It's a lot.
And anyways, so I told Jesus, I don't know. I don't think with all the angels and all the people, I don't think you have enough to change the world. And Jesus pulled out the big gun and he said, quote, it's God's plan.
Mm,
Now that struck me dumb.
yeah.
When authoritative person like Jesus tells you it's God's plan, I mean, like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, I surrender, I give up, whatever. So that was in 1985. This is 2023. I get discouraged, I get hopeless, I get down, I get very pessimistic. And I have to remind myself, and I've been reminded by um, a spiritual advisor that I had. My job is to be a beacon of hope.
Mhm.
As I'm sure you're well aware, it's easy to take people emotionally down. I
Yeah.
mean, you just tell people all the bad stuff in the world. It's like pretty soon, all you want to do is commit suicide or go to bed and pull the covers over your head, whatever. Um, it's hard to give people, it's hard to be a beacon of hope, but I've been told by God, by my spiritual advisor, by that's my job, is to be a beacon of hope. So that's what I try and do.
Well, at,
And
at my house, like my husband, so I have a long story where I had a lot of problems with addiction through my 20s, some in my 30s. It just got really bad off and on, but it ended up getting really bad, and I just, it's a long, long story, but I just cried out one night, like, God, I'm done, and just, and I remember that he gave me, it's like he took away the craving, he gave me the strength, but he filled me with
oh,
so much love.
hallelujah,
Yes,
hallelujah.
thank you. Yes, and he filled me with so much love that it was overflowing. Like I loved Hitler. I
Yeah,
loved everybody.
yeah, yeah,
I just couldn't not love anything and everything. And I didn't know what reborn was meant, or I didn't know what reborn
yeah,
meant or
yeah,
was, or and
yeah,
the longer I started realizing just this gravitational pull of love that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
couldn't explain. Even as an artist, I've tried to write it down and explain it to people. Um, because I'm like, everybody needs to feel like this. You know,
yeah,
everybody
yeah, yeah.
needs to be reborn. And it's I don't even know, exactly what I thought when I asked God, to help me. It was just like he just, touched me, and I
Yeah,
was
I'm
filled with
hearing
his
you
love.
loud. I'm hearing you loud and clear. Okay.
Yes. So my kids, my son is fixing to be 19. He's like really sweet. The boy has never lied to me like once, which I think is
Yeah.
incredible, incredible. Like
Yeah.
it's just unusual. Like he's very honest, and he's just really focusing on being a teenager, being cool. My daughter's 22. She's very bougie. She's like, "Dad, I have to have, this kind of car and the Chanel sunglasses and all this, right?" So whenever I was reborn, they saw this big change in me, but they were so happy that they did. But they also saw me completely filled with God's love and wanting to spread that, and curious about that as well. And the one thing I didn't do was I didn't push it on them. I just
Good
said,
for you.
I think the best thing to do is live my life as an example of the love that God can give you if you open yourself to it. And that has worked so much. And, it's really,
Well, you did it right, and I did it all wrong. After my near-death experience, I was a zealot, and I drove not intentionally. I thought I
right.
was doing them a favor, but by being a zealot, I drove everybody away from me, and they all hated me. And some of them still hate me to this day.
Well, Howard, you had like the huge experience. I was reborn, but you actually, went to
Yeah.
like a
Also,
heaven.
I'm a
You don't be hard on
stubborn
yourself.
alpha male type personality too. I mean, I can't.
Right. You're like, hey, I've seen you like get very excited, and you're like, everybody needs to listen. I like that side of you. I like it when you get excited like that. So yeah, you should give yourself a break, because if somebody sees what you saw, felt what you felt, and everything, like, wow,
We've
yeah.
got like 5 minutes left, guys. I'm sorry about this
Really?
stupid Zoom.
Well,
Yeah,
wait
I
a
know
minute.
it
I've
goes
No,
got
by
no, it's okay. It's okay.
okay.
goes by
Yeah, I
fast.
mean, I I really, really enjoyed. I do have one personal question I want to ask you as an artist. It just drives me crazy because I am so addicted to color. I have got so many lights in my bedroom. I know you can't really see right now, but I have like colored lights all through the house, and I'm changing them. I just love color. And so I'm always wondering when you said, and I've heard this before, that there are other colors in heaven that cannot be explained, because there's just no words, or you would tell us what they look like. Um, and I remember watching an interview with you and Karen Swan, I believe, and you were saying that the best you could do was refer it to like seeing an opal, how it changes colors. So, as an artist, when you look at blue and you look at like a red, there's cool and there's warm tones. If you could say these colors that you can't explain, would they be more on the warm side or the cool side?
Um, both, but let me answer a different way. You know, we see our eye sees three wavelengths of color. That's it.
Mhm.
And then our brain processes those three wavelengths into all kinds of mixtures. And so that psychologists say that an untrained person might see be able to identify 600 or 700 colors. A trained person, like an artist, a visual artist, might see 2,000 differences in color. But there's insects that see colors, see in the visible light spectrum things that we don't see. And I'll give you an example: ultraviolet light.
Oh, yes.
There's insects that see ultraviolet light, which we don't see at all, but we've developed cameras that can actually photograph. Oh, another kitty. Uh,
I wanted to show you my birthday present.
yeah, what? What a face. What a
But
face.
you know what? We don't know what to name her. This like I've been through the desert on a cat with no name. Like we know, but she's so cute. We're like, I'm just calling her baby. And
Yeah,
she's
that's a
very,
good name. How old is
very
she?
hyper. She's like 2 months or 2 months old almost. Yeah. I
Yeah.
just had to show her off.
Yeah.
She's like very spastic.
Well, anyways, so I was really fascinated with my perception in heaven because there was so much beyond,
Oh,
and heaven's going to be so much fun.
yeah.
You know? It's so not sitting on a cloud playing a harp.
Is heaven a planet? Is heaven a planet?
Is it a planet?
Mhm.
It's a universe.
It's universe.
Yeah,
Remember you described it as like an onion, almost like that you
a
peel.
galaxy.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then God is like the center of everything, and
yeah,
everybody learns, experiences, and
yeah.
the idea is getting
E-
closer and closer.
Everything good, everything that's good that God has made is in heaven, and there's nothing
The,
bad in heaven.
the vibrational choir of the
Yeah,
angels, and
yeah,
yes, I I really think I understand what you're saying. It sounds beyond words. Yeah.
yeah. But
So Corey, are you worried, Corey? Are we
Yeah,
getting
my
really
face is
close?
sweating a bit here.
Yeah, I
I
can tell. I can feel Corey's nerves.
we got like 2 minutes. I
Okay.
hate this. I'm gonna upgrade one of these days. I just never get around to it. So one of these days I'll be able to go longer. And just
Well, I'm really thankful. I thank you, Howard, so much for your time this morning, and I thank you too, Corey, for the opportunity.
yes. Deanna and I became friends through some of your videos, actually, Howard. So that's how it works, I guess, with spreading love, eh?
yeah,
Yeah, I
this
actually
is
go
this
ahead.
is Corey's church. Corey
Yeah,
his own church. I
And I
I
like
think
swear I'm not a
Corey,
church man. I'm not a church man,
Corey,
but here we go.
I think you need to write sing a theme song for your YouTube channel, like at the beginning.
There's a video on there of me singing my
Because this
stepdaughter
one
put on.
sings,
uh-uh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sang to his wife at her birthday. I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
that's
40
great.
now. She just turned
My
40. It
husband cannot sing. That's
Uh-uh.
great. Yeah.
was good.
It's wonderful.
I have all kinds of questions for you too, Howard, but I don't want to overlap Deanna's time here. So there's like a
Well,
minute left. It's gonna cut off. But
you
I
can go ahead.
do appreciate you doing this with us, Howard, and Deanna was looking forward to it too. I know because her and I spoke a few times before the video. So I knew the questions ahead of time. Boxers or briefs. And it's a good question. Good questions, though, Deanna. Yeah, and you got some answers from the questions that I wanted to ask Howard too. So, and just a little side note, Howard. While I have about 30 seconds here, I want this to come out right. So please don't think I'm coming at you as an attack mode. But something was drawing me to search into your story a little more, and so I've been ever since I saw you from 1985. I think you were on Oprah Winfrey then. I saw a video of you on her series, whatever, and I thought to myself, man, I don't know how to say this without making it sound like I'm attacking you, but I was like, I got to make sure Howard's telling me the truth because all the guys I've spoke to and the women I've spoke to, their story kind of alters a bit here and there, and they add things and they take away and they kind of bullshit me a bit, for lack of better words. But I'll tell you, I can't find any flaws in your story, man, and I've tried very hardly just for myself not to go to the world and tell everybody Howard Storm's not right. Don't listen to him. I just wanted to. It's just my personality, who I am. But I mean, I got to give you props, man. Your story has not changed at all. So
We're looking
A
forward to
plus for
the
Howard
movie,
Storm.
and we're hoping your movie comes out. Very
Yeah,
excited
thank you.
about that. The
Thank you.
world needs it.
Thank you.
Yes,
I look forward to it too.
Well,
yes.
thanks, Corey. That was a good compliment.
It was, well, I mean, it was just the truth. I would certainly have told you if I would have said, "Hey, Howard, your story's changing here or there, man. Like, explain yourself," But it's just who I am. But no, your story hasn't changed, which is encouraging to me because some of the stuff you've told me, I went to the Bible for, and if you look for it, you actually find the answers I found. So, anyways, guys, she's going to shut off on me here. I hate this. I'm sorry, but I appreciate both of your guys' times today. I'm glad you guys got to reconnect a bit.
Yes. Thank you, Howard. Thank you.
Okay, God bless you, Deann.
Yeah. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Bye, Corey.
Bye. We'll
God
talk
bless,
again, I'm
Corey.
sure.
Okay.
You're
Yeah,
welcome. Okay, guys, have a good day.
thank you.